The fear of rejection is the fear of experiencing pain or agony when a group of people doesn't like or accept us. We think that if we are rejected, there will always be large amounts of pain, and that fear can lead us to avoiding these situations altogether because it's our body's way of protecting us from feeling pain. And if we avoid the situation completely, we do not experience that same level of perceived pain. And sometimes this pain is not always imaginary. There might be situations in the past where you've been rejected by a group or an individual, and it's been extremely hurtful both emotionally and mentally after that experience. But there are many cases where this pain of being rejected is just an imaginary fear. It's a thought in your head that if I'm rejected, I will experience this deep level of pain. And this fear comes up in not just group situations like at a party, but also, if you met an interesting person and you're thinking about reaching out to them, but you're afraid that they might not like you, so you just don't text them. Or there's a sales call that would be great to make, but you think that they might not buy whatever you're selling or be interested in your product, so you don't do it out of fear of protecting yourself, you don't do it. Or finally, there might be a person that you've liked for a long time and you're interested in, and you just don't want to go through the pain of them saying no. The solution to this is to desensitize yourself both to the thought that there will be pain in every case where you're rejected, and to the actual pain that you might feel in your mind and your body when you're rejected. Because if you're able to do these things, what are you afraid of? And so this fear, if there's no perceived pain and there's no actual pain, then this fear becomes useless. And your body's reaction to avoid this pain goes away. So now we can talk about how you actually desensitize yourself to the pain, both perceived and actual, of rejection. So there's a concept in immunology called inoculation. And I've actually done this. So I used to be very allergic to bees, and so if I got a bee sting on my arm, I would have a huge shock from that. I'd get hives, and I'd have to get an EpiPen to prevent me from hyperventilating. And the way that I was able to make it so I can be stung by bees now is that they gave me over the course of a year increasing dosages of bee venom. So starting off very small where the body could handle that, and increasing over time, that by the end of the year they were giving me a full dose of a bee sting every 6 weeks, and the body was able to handle that. So in the same sense, if you're very afraid of the rejection, the idea of going up to someone and being rejected by them is like getting a full bee sting. It's just too much rejection to handle where it actually will not be helpful in any way to your body. So we have to start small. And the first step would be just getting over the perceived idea that everyone will reject you. So one way to do that is simply going up to a stranger, and maybe that might be so simple, but asking them, what time is it? So if we think about the situation where here's you go up to a person and just ask them, what time is it? There's very little chance in that situation that they're going to reject you or tell you off. They're just going to be helpful and tell you what time it is. So if you see any sort of hesitation in yourself to go up to a complete stranger and ask them what time it is, then that's the first little dosage of bee venom for you. It's the first step in experiencing an acceptable level of pain and rejection to start building that tolerance level. So as a first exercise, you could go up to 10 strangers and just ask them, what time is it? Now, once you're comfortable with something like that, the second step would be something that might be a little bit harder, which is saying hi to a stranger. And in this situation, it is actually possible to get rejected. They might not smile back, they might look away, they might feel weird, they might feel awkward. So that's sort of the next level dose of pain of rejection, is that actually experiencing rejection, but then in this desensitization process, your body is able to handle that the more and more times you go through that. So basically what you're doing in that case is, yes, you are getting rejected sometimes, but you're seeing that pain of rejection is far less than what you perceived it to be. The third step is to put yourself in a situation where you're extremely likely to get rejected, and actually that's the intention of this situation, and that's just like laying down on the middle of a sidewalk on a busy street. So as people walk by you, they will say, oh my God, what is wrong with that person? Or that person's so strange, and they'll actively reject you. So in this case, you are experiencing that pain, but since you've built up this immunization first, going to people, what time is it? And then saying hi to strangers, maybe you do that like 100 times over the course of a month or something, just slowly working on that day after day, and then getting to this point where you can just lay down middle of the sidewalk or just dance in public and really not experience that pain of rejection. So tying this all back together, if you're able to work on these processes to desensitize yourself to the pain and the perceived pain of rejection, we can completely, over time, eliminate this fear so you feel comfortable in social situations, joining the group, and engaging in conversation.